It was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
A commissioner drunk on power, a fan base so furious they finally erupted, and 3 players, Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, standing together as the league crumbles around them. Today, the WNBA faces its biggest scandal ever, with 200,000 fans officially announcing a 2026 boycott, and the number rising so fast that Kathy Angelbert reportedly walked out of the league office in full panic. Sponsors are calling nonstop. Adam Silver is livid, and the league is seconds away from losing everything. This is the story the WNBA never wanted anyone to hear, and if you're watching, you're witnessing history collapse in real time. Hit like, subscribe, and comment Boycott 2026 if you stand with Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi. It all began when the players' group chat leaked, revealing that Kathy had allegedly warned Caitlyn Clark to stop attending outside events, especially golf. And it didn't stop there, as she also warned Sophie and Lexi, threatening suspensions, hinting at benchings, and even floating the word termination.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlyn Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlyn Clark was essentially lost to injury.
The players were stunned. Caitlyn asked, "We can't even play golf. We can't even have lives." And the message spread until, for the first time, Caitlyn Clark, the biggest star the league has ever had, felt cornered, while Sophie and Lexi refused to leave her side, telling her, "If they suspend you, we walk, too." 3 sisters, 3 teammates, 3 fan favorites, and Kathy chose the absolute worst moment to start a war. The second the threat hit the internet, fans went wild. One tweet alone pulled in 1.2 million views, declaring, "Suspend Caitlyn and we suspend the WNBA," and Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok blew up instantly. Fans weren't just angry. They were finished, remembering fake fouls, targeted hits, Caitlyn benched for protection, threats over golf, and warnings for simply existing, and then the nuclear button dropped. 200,000 fans officially signed a 2026 boycott, verified and growing by the minute. It wasn't just individuals, families boycotted, kids boycotted, entire friend groups boycotted, and the anger wasn't short-term. It felt generational. Within hours, sponsors saw the numbers and didn't wait, didn't negotiate. They called Kathy directly and said, "If you lose Caitlyn, you lose us," with one sponsor rep literally stating, "This isn't a league problem. This is a Kathy problem." Suddenly, League HQ was flooded with emails.
Then the high tide lifts all boats or whatever, basically. Like, if you buy into this, everybody is going to eat. Yet you had people fighting tooth and nail the entire season, not wanting it to be this way because other people weren't getting flowers, or she was getting too much attention, or she gets a special whistle, or I'm gonna check her off the ball here just because. And then her teammate cheers for her for throwing her on the ground. It didn't get better. And it's disappointing to me because it's not every player in the WNBA. And I'm sure that there are many players who are happy to have her in the league. And it's like, if it was my league and somebody was coming in and bringing millions of people, like, I would be excited about that, because you know what? That's a chance for me to impress millions of people who weren't watching before. And there's a lot of women in this league who don't have that kind of envy and jealousy and this kind of like secret club mentality that they only want certain people to be a.
Then hundreds of companies began pulling their money, freezing their funding, and threatening to walk away permanently. The WNBA suddenly realized this wasn't a scandal or even a controversy. This was a financial heart attack, and Kathy's decisions were destroying the league in real time. When the boycott count hit 210,000, Adam Silver finally snapped, stormed into the office, slammed a binder on the table, and said, "Fix this or step down," leaving the room in dead silence as Kathy turned pale. He demanded, "Why are you threatening players for living their lives? Why are you targeting Caitlyn? Why are you warning her teammates?" And when she muttered excuses, he cut her off, telling her, "You're not stopping golf, You're not suspending anyone. You're not firing anyone. Then the story took a wild turn. An assistant commissioner whispered something to Silver, and he simply stood up, shook his head, and walked out with zero discussion. Pure legendary frustration. Inside Fever HQ, players' phones were blowing up. 200K boycotts, then 220K, 235K, 250K, while Caitlyn stared at the screen as Sophie held her hand and Lexi wrapped her arms around both of them. Caitlyn whispered, "They're doing this for us," and Sophie answered, "Then we stay strong," with Lexi adding, "Together." Meanwhile, the WNBA office was in meltdown, employees crying, phones ringing nonstop, inboxes exploding, sponsors frozen, executives hiding in their offices, and Kathy shaking with no plan, no allies, no backup. She finally understood the truth. You can't fight your fans, you can't threaten your stars, and you can't control people, and the fans had officially taken their lead back. By the end of the day, the boycott estimate passed 1 million when counting families. Kathy's chair was empty, her office door locked, and she refused to speak as the league lost sponsors, credibility, fans, money, and stability.
Would be holding the players back from saying, yes, we agreed to an extension. Let's try to iron out this deal so there is no lockout. Right? They'll still be able to negotiate if there's a lockout. However, players won't be able to head to the facility. They won't be able to get treatment. They won't be able to train with the team, with the staff. So there is some things to lose if there is a lockout. Sources: WNBA offers players extension on CBA deadline. The WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to negotiate a new
question, which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlyn Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you try and stay ahead of that, try and tamp it down, or act as a league when two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved?
All of this spiraled out of control because she threatened Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, the very three she should have been protecting. The WNBA didn't just lose players today, it lost trust, and trust is everything. If you believe the fans were right, comment boycott 2026 until there's justice, and if you stand with Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, hit like and subscribe, because this scandal is nowhere near finished.